She called the film outdated. She said that the movie was basically about a prince stalking Snow White.
There has definitely been tension between Snow White leading ladies Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler.
Disney's highly anticipated live-action remake of Snow White has become a massive catastrophe, with critics, fans, and even the studio itself reeling from what is now being called one of the biggest disasters in recent Hollywood history. Projected to lose a staggering $115 million, the film's financial woes are just the tip of the iceberg. The scandal surrounding Snow White has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, with high-profile figures like Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot now in the crosshairs of the fallout. Disney's once unbeatable formula of reimagining animated classics has hit a major speed bump, and now the studio is scrambling to salvage what's left of its reputation and its investment. When Snow White was first announced, it seemed like the perfect idea. A live-action remake of Disney's first ever animated feature film, starring a fresh-faced, up-and-coming star in the form of Rachel Zegler.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
But what was meant to be a heartwarming and exciting reinvention of a beloved classic quickly spiraled into a public relations nightmare, a financial disaster, and a case study in how not to remake a timeless tale. From the beginning, this film was marred by controversy. Zegler's casting was seen by many as an attempt to modernize the character of Snow White, but it quickly raised eyebrows. Zegler, a relatively unknown actress with little experience in big-budget films, was thrust into the limelight. However, her comments about the original 1937 film,
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
she's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's
calling it outdated and problematic, sparked a firestorm of criticism. Fans of the original Snow White were livid, feeling that the classic animation deserved respect. Her comments about how Disney's 1937 portrayal of Snow White was far too simplistic and didn't speak to modern sensibilities seemed to imply that the studio was ready to move on from the film's legacy altogether. This wasn't just a small comment that went unnoticed. Zegler had already developed a reputation for her outspoken political views. It was something much bigger and much more divisive. The fallout from the casting choices, Zegler versus Gadot. But the issues didn't stop with Zegler's controversial remarks. The dynamics between Zegler and her co-star, Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, were reportedly tense from the beginning. However, sources from the set of Snow White revealed that Gadot found it difficult to work with Zegler, especially after her inflammatory statements. The role of Snow White is iconic, and the relationship between Snow White and the evil queen is central to the story. As we know, Snow White had a colossal budget, estimated to be around $270 million for production alone. When you factor in an additional $140 million for marketing and promotion, Disney's total investment in this film exceeded a mind-blowing $410 million. With that much money on the line, expectations for the film were sky-high, but what they didn't anticipate was that Snow White would crash and burn so spectacularly. The film was released with high hopes, only to gross a meager $143.1 million in its first few weeks. For a production that cost over $400 million, this is nothing short of a disaster. As the financial losses continue to mount, rumors have begun swirling that Disney is considering legal action against Rachel Zegler. While the actress has been an outspoken advocate for progressive causes, her remarks about the film and her behavior on set have led some insiders to believe that she may be partially responsible for the film's failure. Disney executives, who are under immense pressure to salvage the brand's reputation, may look to sue Zegler for her role in the debacle as the studio attempts to assign blame for the film's catastrophic performance. But it's not just Zegler in trouble. Gal Gadot, too, could be facing career fallout from the film's disastrous reception. Snow White has been a major embarrassment for her, and many insiders are wondering whether this will affect her future projects. Could Disney distance itself from Gadot, just as it seems to be distancing itself from Snow White? Or will the studio continue to rally behind the star, hoping to recover from the damage done by the film's failure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Disney will continue with its live-action remake strategy? Or is the Snow White disaster a sign that the studio needs to shift gears?